Make sure we get all our bottle.
So yeah, Joker was entertaining.
Yeah.
I've heard it's also very
I heard it's really dark. So
it's dark in that it really,
by the way, our video's on.
puts a mirror up to the current times.
Yes,
and mental health issues and all that. It's very.
That's what I heard. Like it really like hits home on that stuff.
It very much feels like you're watching a Goodfellas, Scorsese type.
Okay.
It's been filmed in that kind of genre, and to the point where it takes place in the 70s. So
I heard that. Yeah, so the world feels older. Like that. Yeah,
it's filmed on film. It's got that.
I've heard a lot of people say that this should take the place of like every Joker prior to it.
No,
and I'm kind of like I'm not buying that.
No, I don't go that far.
Apparently, I've heard that people who have not learned have taken their children to this film and had to walk out early because it's too much.
Okay.
It gets. I mean, it's violent, and there's swearing. It's rated R for a reason, but it's not. I mean, I've seen way worse.
I love the fact that. Was it TriStar? No, it wasn't TriStar. Who put it out? Was it?
I can't remember.
But apparently, maybe it was Warner Brothers. Apparently, they've on several occasions put a Twitter account out to say basically, don't take your kids.
I've seen pictures and stuff saying
this is not a comic book movie.
This is an adult rated R.
Right.
There's sexual themes. There's all sorts of stuff.
And I want to know what parents are taking their kids to see a film that's rated R.
The same ones that took them to see Deadpool.
Yeah.
Or Saving Private Ryan. It happened, Austin, I'm telling you. Or how about the little child that was watching Resident Evil, the last chapter, next to Tara and I, that was like 5 years old? I'm serious. It happened. I watched it. And Tara was like, what the deuce? Like, she didn't know what to think because this little girl was sitting next to her and she was afraid she was going to start crying or something. But she didn't. I give her credit. She made it through. Okay. Are we ready?
Phones are off.
Yeah, my phone's silent. Anybody else? Good?
Mine is silent.
Silent.
Is your brain silent?
I'll try to make it.
Oh, that's on air. I just want to put that up. Okay, here we go. Hey, folks! Welcome to this episode of the Galaxy. Okay, back up. Start over.
Marker, take two.
It's been a couple weeks since I've had to do this. Freddy is a devil. Okay.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Bob's version of a dial-up modem.
Okay. All right, let's try it again. Hey, folks! Welcome to this episode of the GalaxyCast. I have with me...
I can't say mine.
You can't count.
I can't say mine.
I have with me 4 people in the studio tonight because Gary can't count tonight.
No. I can count.
He doesn't like the number. It's really what it is.
Number is 3. You have to say it's not 3, 4.
I have 4 people in the studio tonight. I have with me Eric the artist.
And I'm on season 2.
For those who are watching the video, that's going to make total sense. I have with me Austin the Numpty.
Ouch, I don't like being called a Numpty anymore.
Fine. Austin the Inquisitor.
Fine, don't take that.
And I have with me Gary the Stud.
And I'm on season 3.
And I'm your host, Bob Chrisman, who's on season 69.
For those listening to the podcast who don't understand, it was something that happened right before we recorded. Bob had a tendency to type, anytime we wanted to review a trailer or a video, he'd type in season 2.
Stuck on season 2. I don't know why.
This is just a trailer. He even typed in YouTube season 2 in the YouTube search. So apparently YouTube's on season 2.
So for those people that do really stupid things and get picked on about it, I totally understand. Just so you know.
Isn't that our entire life, Dad?
Yes, I get picked on for all sorts of stupid things.
Especially
it's my life.
Especially by me and Eric.
Yes, and I'm used to it. It's all good.
And it's probably gone all the way back to middle school.
And I know it's all out of love. It's all good. So, tonight we have several things we want to talk about at the beginning of our episode. I'm telling myself that to make myself feel better. You're not helping.
It's all out of love.
All out of love. We're going to talk about...
It's all out of love. I'm so lost without you.
That's the best you're going to get out of Eric and I. Okay, so we're going to talk about James Gunn's Suicide Squad. And
season 2. It's actually
version 2.
Sequel, part 2.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the photos coming out of Crisis on Infinite Earth's CW Super Special, as it were. We're going to talk about the Picard trailer, which is the second trailer. Yeah, we're going to pause on that one. And then we're going to talk about Spider-Man again.
What's going on now?
What now, Disney?
Okay, so James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2 just released some, literally tonight as we were talking, some set photos.
Now, they didn't
from
release
the
them.
movie.
Let's be
Well,
honest.
yeah,
These
that's
are set photos
set
that
photos
someone's getting with a
right.
telephoto
Somebody's getting
lens.
a telephoto lens.
Now, to catch people up before we talk about this, he did release a complete listing of all the actors appearing in the movie on Twitter, like a couple days ago, a week ago, but said, don't get attached, or something like that. And so people were instantly going, well, A, who are they playing? And B, how many of them are going to die? So
Right.
we go into this now.
And he's agreed that, I'm reading it right now, it's been described as a sequel. It's neither a sequel nor a reboot.
Yes.
So I guess that's what's throwing me off here,
clearly
because
partly a sequel because Boomerang's back, and it's the same actor.
Right.
And is Harley Quinn, it says, is coming back.
Yeah, Amanda Waller is being played by Viola Davis. Rick Flagg's being played by Joel Kinnaman, which I believe are all the same actors.
Yeah, Jai Courtney is playing Captain Boomerang.
Right.
But they're bringing in John Cena.
John Cena and Idris Elba are going to be added to the cast. So Idris Elba's another pretty big pickup.
Oh, yeah.
So does that mean they have to play Cena's theme every single time he shows up in the film?
I hope so. Then I'll be
I was
singing.
going to say, Gary will actually go see a DC movie then.
Oh,
And he might stay awake through the whole thing.
And this is what I was trying to find earlier. That side picture where your arrow almost is right now.
Yeah.
That's the picture I'd seen, which is a group cast shot
of
from
the
Crisis with a bunch of people in costume.
Yeah.
And
We
I
can come
knew-
back to that when we
yeah,
talk
we'll
about the
come back to
costume.
that.
Thank you. So, and it's interesting, these photos that are showing up, the set photos that we're seeing, and I mean, there's quite an eclectic group here. We see Captain Boomerang for sure. I guess the one that everybody's kind of up in the air about is Nathan Fillion's character.
Yes.
We're not quite sure what
Well,
he
okay,
is.
so now that I look at his costume, they said that there's two chances. He's either, what was the guy's name? The Blackguard.
Blackguard.
He's either Blackguard, which he kind of looks like. We looked up some pictures of him online
Right.
of the character. Or they said, and I can see this now, that he's an obscure character from the DC universe called Arms Fall Off Boy. And if you look at his skull and crossbones, it's two arms, not crossbones,
Oh,
crossing
yeah.
in front. So
Fronts.
now people are saying, and he's got no sleeves. So people are wondering, is he Arms Falls Off Boy who tears off his arms and uses them as
To
weapons?
beat people,
to
yeah.
beat people.
Which
I can't put it past James Gunn to do that.
Well, and knowing Nathan Fillion, and I love him to death, he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
I could totally see him getting into that, like totally getting into the character too.
I'm just sitting there thinking,
And he's ripped. Look at his arms.
Yeah, he's obviously been working out.
Yeah. I know Nathan. I've seen him at Dragon Con, and that's not. He's ripped. Like he did some workout for that.
I don't know how to feel about the Arms Fall Off Boy thing, because it might be a little gross.
Well, it's and it's interesting. This is going to be a hard sell. I think this movie's going to be a hard sell because these characters are so obscure. This would be like Deadpool 2 trying to sell the movie without Deadpool. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if it were just Domino and the rest of the Deadpool, like the X-Force cast.
Take out Deadpool and Cable, because Cable's kind of mainstream.
Cable too. But
I think
but you
obviously
still got Captain
right.
Boomerang. You've still got Margot Robbie's still in this, correct? I believe.
I think she's returning.
So there's a couple that I'm like, I could see, but I mean, some
When
of these are going to be hard to
the
sell.
marketing. When the marketing comes, you know that what they'll do is they'll play up some of the big characters that we know, like Idris Elba, whatever he's playing.
It's got to be
that'll be a big deal. He'll play that kind of stuff up, and then there'll be the quirk added to the commercial. Just like I remember when the first Guardians of the Galaxy trailer came out.
Oh yeah,
and it was super comedic and weird, and they even
the one where
tagline was just like, "What a bunch of a-holes."
Yeah, right. Thank you. That's right.
That's their tagline for the first trailer. It was a really weird thing, yet it worked. We went and saw it, loved it. It worked.
But
he's gonna do something like the marketing.
I get that, and I'm all about that. And marketing will sell this or not sell it, as it were. But the thing about Guardians was it was so quintessential Guardians, even the commercial. You know what I mean? Like if you read the comic books, that totally made sense.
But again,
because
didn't. Well, I'll guarantee you, half of the people who saw that movie never read a Guardians comic.
You really think that was that high?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
These movies are so popular, and the comics don't have that number of sales.
I would think maybe a third, not necessarily a half. But...
So,
I've never read a Guardians comic.
Okay.
I read some of them, but I've only read like 4 or 5.
I know.
I read the originals.
I read like 4 or
I
5.
mean, I read-
and you're talking about the originals.
I read old
right.
issues where the originals showed up, but I never followed their exclusive series.
Right, and
I-
that's what I'm saying. Like, I have 4 or 5 comics of the Guardians,
Yeah.
and they showed up in like Secret Wars and a couple other things, so I knew who they were and what
that-
they were.
I remember seeing them in different places.
But other than that, they were very obscure in the Marvel universe, and now they seem very mainstream for sure.
the movies did it.
Yeah,
I read the original with Charlie 27,
right,
Phantom X, Mainframe, Yandu.
Yondu was
right. Yondu
Yondu was really a mainstream
Yes, he
Guardian?
was.
Yes.
he was the leader.
He was the leader at first.
Oh.
He
And
was
he
a
was-
Quill.
With the bigger
Entirely-
mohawk.
Yes.
Entirely different
Yep.
characters. They
Yes.
changed him a ton for the movie.
Yeah, he wasn't the pirate that you see in the movie, or that
Major Vance Astro was in it. He was the Captain America.
What
version.
wasn't that the one that had like 4 Rom or whatever in it at one
Yep.
point in time?
4 Lom.
4 Lom. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Some weird robot dude.
And,
Oh wait, Forlom's Star Wars.
4 Lom Star Wars. But there was a.
You're
there was
thinking
a
of
robot.
Rom the Space Knight, who had his own series.
Was that it?
I think that's what you're thinking of.
No, there was a
He had the white face with the 2 red eyes. It was like a slit.
No, there was
Oh, okay.
there was a 4-eyed.
4-eyed robot, and I can't remember the name
Yeah.
of it now.
Oh, I can't think of that.
I'll have to look
Then
that
there
one
was
up.
Oh, there was Zuckus. He was big in the Guardians.
The ancient one was like a giant
Yeah, Squid Head, right?
shrimp or something.
Yeah, shrimp. Yeah, whatever you want to call that.
Who was the Doctor Strange version?
Yes, yeah.
So,
I find it interesting we're talking more about Guardians
Then we are right now. Yeah,
Then we're
I was
talking
supposed to
about
get back to this one. So back in Suicide Squad,
Which
Pete Davidson looks like
yeah,
he's
so
playing
Pete Davidson's
Savant.
in this, which is
Saturday
an
Night Live.
interesting casting for a guy
But
who's
if he's
kind of
playing,
all over the map.
if he's playing Savant, Savant's supposed to be a little bit crazy.
Okay,
Like,
so then if he fits,
right,
yeah.
I was gonna say he totally fits the role. We see Boomerang in there for sure, and he
Boomerang looks
definitely has a good look about him, the typical Boomerang look. And I kind of it's definitely an uptick from the last Boomerang look. We've got a girl who's dressed as what looks like Mongol, which is a
Yeah.
superpowered alien,
And we looked up those pictures.
the
and that
pictures
seems to
pretty
match.
pretty much match the costume almost. Yeah, and her arms might be just as big as Nathan Fillion's. Good lord. I would not want to see her in a dark alley, that's for sure. And then the weird one is the guy who's in the white and yellow costume. This is kind of like
Blue and yellow.
I've
Yeah.
never blue and yellow, and
All they got to do is take away the blue, keep it mostly yellow, give him a cape. He can keep the long hair, and he's the Sentry from Marvel.
Yep.
true. I didn't even think about that. You're kind of right.
He could be a very good
Could be
Sentry.
a very good Sentry, yeah.
Also get rid of the blue face mask, of course. But
Yeah.
But he's got a javelin, and so a lot of people are assuming that he is Javelin.
I'm pretty
as a
sure he
character,
is.
and it's
And
kind of hard
there's
not to see that.
what's his name? Sean Gunn
Sean Gunn.
is in a motion capture outfit. So
Right. So the assumption there is that he's playing Weasel, which is this like
giant weasel monster.
kind of.
Werewolf
I was gonna say he
thing.
looks more werewolf than
Yeah.
Weasel to me, but he's an interesting character. So what do you guys think? I mean, like what do you like this idea of trying to use obscure characters to try to sell a movie, or
they're
is
trying.
that just too weird and off the wall?
It's as if they're trying to kind of go with what Marvel's doing. Marvel's bringing in some B or C level characters right now in phase 4, phase 5, and they're jumping the gun and throwing it into like phase 2. In my eyes, because the phase 1 would have been.
Well,
up
here's
to-
the problem with DC.
There's no
There's no
phase.
phases.
Right.
They have a
Nothing's
Joker
connected.
movie that attaches to nothing, and the
Right.
Wonder Woman that's going to come out is a sequel to the previous, but not really a Justice League anymore. And from what I heard just today, they said they're recasting Superman because now that there's a young Batman, you can't have an old Superman and a young Batman, so they're going to recast Superman. Apparently.
So yet again, we're
And it
back
won't be
out with
Cavill.
Superman again.
Apparently.
Cavill
That's
is out
another.
again.
It could be a rumor, could just be a story, could be clickbait, but that's what I saw.
but did you see who's doing that though?
J.J. Abrams.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna be directing it.
Apparently, he wants to come in and do. But here's the thing. So, who's the director of the Mission Impossible movie? Brad Bird, is it the most recent one
I believe
that
so.
had
Yeah.
Cavill in it?
I believe so.
Apparently, they had such a good time working together. They want to make Man of Steel 2, and he's like, I would like to come back for that with him directing. And so they're saying that while J.J. Abrams is saying we're recasting, while Joaquin Phoenix is playing a Joker that's not connected to anything, while we're rebooting
And
half
meanwhile,
of Suicide Squad.
meanwhile, DC will let all of it happen.
Yeah.
They're gonna let it all happen.
I think that's become their approach, is scattershot.
I think what they need to do is make another Green Lantern with.
With Ryan Reynolds. I think they should do Deadpool Ryan Reynolds version, where Deadpool's actually playing the Green Lantern without anybody knowing, and that's how they cross over. They cross the streams. Yeah.
That would be hilarious. That'd be a funny thing they could do at the end. Just
And at the
What
end,
did
you
you
can
guys
pull the
think?
mask off and go, "Fooled you."
What did you think of Suicide Squad 1, the first one?
I didn't hate it.
I didn't mind it actually.
I didn't love it either.
No.
I'll be honest about that.
I think I liked the. I felt I
liked the cast, but I was
Yes,
I was
I
upset
felt like it was
about.
a great cast and a mediocre movie.
Yeah, I was
Like-
more upset about the fact that there was no real bad guy. The bad guy was within the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a lame thing. I would have rather have seen some sort of bad guy, Joker, or somebody, anybody,
Yeah.
cast as a bad guy that they're going after. I really hated the fact that they used somebody within the Suicide Squad to be the bad guy. It was such a lame. That's like the story sucked. Really,
But
great cast, awful story.
Yeah.
It's
what I would have wanted to see is take Harley Quinn and Joker out because they seem to have drawn the attention away from it being a Suicide Squad film to the side quest for Joker to get back with Harley.
There were a lot of plot lines,
And it felt like it was too much.
and apparently they filmed enough with Jared Leto to he's like, we had a ton of stuff for a Joker movie practically, and I was cut down to nothing. And that's why I feel bad for him. Is I was interested in his take.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of it. I know people deride it as the worst Joker ever. I don't think it was.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think it was very interesting. I think it was killed in the edit because they killed any story it could have had, and they just sliced it up. So
Yeah, I don't think they gave him enough credit, Jared Leto. I really did actually think it was not the typical Joker interpretation. It's kind of why I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I was tired of seeing the that style of Joker, I guess the best way to put it. The very original style of Joker, which is okay, but since then there's been so many cool incantations of Joker that Leto was more of the modern age Joker with the tattoos, and I was cool with that. I was okay with it. But my problem was I didn't mind Harley. Actually, to me, Harley is a big part of Suicide Squad. It's kind of hard to do,
Okay.
especially if you're going to introduce Suicide Squad.
Harley is a huge thing to that Suicide film. I'll give you that.
But to me, that what they needed to do is they needed to introduce Harley as a separate movie first, and then
this is where they ruined
Suicide
it.
Squad.
Who should have been the villain for the Suicide Squad?
Joker.
The Joker.
Joker
You
should
could
have
have had Joker
You
been
put
trying.
him in, make him important, and then tie it much more together and give Jared Leto a chance to
And
act off everybody.
And
do
what you
more.
could have done was, make him the bad guy, and then, find out later that Harley's been feeding him all the info.
Yeah. They gave that away too early.
Right.
With the phone thing and all
Right.
that. It's like they could have made that a trick, and they could have done it differently.
They could have made that a movie in and of itself. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I was
But
trying to
you
say.
had who was the one guy that died super duper early that we didn't even get to see anything from because he wasn't shown being picked up. We didn't introduce him at
He
all.
literally appeared, jumped up in the air, tried to escape, and his head exploded.
It was
Yeah.
Slipstream or
Slipknot.
Slipknot.
That's what it was.
That guy was just
Good memory.
bantha fodder.
But yet again, when you talk about Suicide Squad, there's so many characters that have been in it. This is like X-Force for the Marvel. It's like there's been so many people been in that group. You could have any group of characters playing anybody in that side of that group, and it would work.
The thing I liked about it was they actually had villains that people knew.
Right.
Right. Killer Croc.
Right.
Which-
Boomerang. I just wish they had a little more variety instead of all Batman.
You could have.
Yeah,
I was
know what you're
thinking.
saying.
I don't know if he's ever been on the team. I think you could have brought in Heatwave and Captain Cold, two Flash villains.
We already had a Flash villain of Boomerang.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So have Boomerang, have Killer Croc would have been okay. Harley Quinn would have been alright too.
And Deadshot was good.
I
Deadshot
like
was
Will
okay.
Keeping
I like.
him in.
I
I
didn't
didn't mind
mind.
Will Smith as him. I thought he
Yeah,
was
no.
fine.
But what I'm saying is, bring a Superman.
I was about to say, where's the
Uh,
Superman villain? Where's the Wonder Woman
yeah.
villain? Where's the...
So bring like Cheetah in for
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Superman.
There were a lot of options. I
We've
mean,
not heard anything about Wonder Woman 84 recently, have we? It's gone pretty silent.
yeah.
Mhm.
I've been worried about, is the production stalled?
I remember seeing pictures from. They did that one picture where they recreated the Breakfast Club pose.
Right, yep. With,
And that was
with
like
the
the
cast.
last thing I
Yep.
heard.
Yep.
Was there anything like near Comic Con?
Nope. And I was waiting. I thought they would have some sort of... There was a very quiet DC panel, from my understanding, from New York Comic Con.
They kind of just talked a little.
Mm-hmm.
Probably talk more about comics than movies.
Yep. That's exactly what they did, which kind of concerns me because does that mean that they're stalling out in '84? I don't know. I do wonder if DC needs somebody to come in and save their butts. You know what I mean?
They need someone very similar to the situation with Marvel that runs everything through it.
Supposed to be Geoff Johns, but what happened?
Well, that failed. We all know that.
And he came in and said, we're gonna get this all streamlined. Blah, blah.
That wasn't gonna happen. They seriously need Jon Favreau to come in.
I was gonna say,
like
you need Jon Favreau or Kevin Feige to come in.
I don't want him to go. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, bring Favreau," and I'm like, "No," and I'll tell you why I don't want Jon Favreau to go because that means he's off the set of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Hell no, I want him to stay on that set right now.
Perfect person that can save DC Comics.
What do you think?
Kevin Smith.
Yes,
You actually
yes.
he might be
He's
right
not
on that
far
one.
off with that. I could believe the
didn't
problem
laugh.
is he's so inexperienced at huge budget. That's
You're
the thing
right.
that worries me.
You're right, but
He loves going small.
But if you tell him, listen, you're just gonna help direct the directors in the correct direction.
Not even directed, just
Well, I'm just saying, like, help.
be the Steve Sansweet of
Right.
the DC universe.
Literally
Right.
say, okay, this comes, this goes.
I'm
We're
not even
doing
saying
that.
directing. I'm saying like guide the directors so that the continuity stays the same across the board. That's what he needs to be able to do. And to be honest, I think Kevin Smith's good at that. Because when you look at his movies, he may not be great at directing, but he is good at keeping continuity so he can tell the craziest story. I mean, when you look at things like, any of his movies, he'll have the crazy story, but at the same time, there's somehow continuity in amongst the whole crazy story.
You
And
hear this, Kevin?
he
Go
makes it
contact
happen.
Warner Brothers.
No, I think you hear this, Warner Brothers, go contact Kevin. That's what I need.
I think the only person who should survive the Suicide Squad movie should be Arms Fall Off Boy. Everybody else should get wiped out.
Well, who do you think survives? Who do you think survives? Do you think Boomerang survives?
I think Boomerang will probably be kept because he's a carryover. And again, you don't know them. They're just doing it to mess with you.
To kill it, yeah.
I'm thinking Boomerang and Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn's definite. They want to do more with her. I don't think she's.
Well, she's in Birds of Prey already, right?
Yeah.
Is that any relation to this movie, though, or are they keeping them all separate?
There is a trailer for. I haven't watched the second trailer yet.
Oh, Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either. I didn't even know there was a second trailer yet.
Well, Bob, if you looked for it, you'd have found it.
Yeah, there's a
season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one I didn't look for. The only season 2 I didn't look for.
Ewan McGregor's in it as Black Mask.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So moving on within the DC universe, same concept, same idea, but
More
now into a
costumes.
different. Yeah, we're going to talk about some costumes here for the CW. I guess this is super spectacular at this point, right? Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Their crossover.
It's their crossover episode, which I'm actually, I'm big into the CW universe anyway, so the idea of actually seeing the set photos of their costumes is kind of cool for me. So there's this picture that was it on Twitter, it looks like, right? Yeah.
No, this person's sharing it.
And it's the cast of Crisis on Infinite Earths in a photo. And I gotta admit, this interesting cast. I mean, obviously it's all the people we'd normally see and some of the characters. So
Who's Harrison Wells' character there in the front?
For example, I'll get to that.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
We have Black Lightning, obviously. We have who's the stretchy dude?
Plastic Man.
Ralph Dibny?
Yeah, Ralph Dibny is playing Plastic Man.
Okay.
And we have...
No, Ralph Dibny is the name of the character.
Oh, Ralph. Yeah, thank you. And we have Flash, obviously. We have Diggle.
Two Supermen.
Two Supermen, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Ralph's still looking pretty built.
Yeah, I think
Oh, no, I see the other one. Okay.
Yep, there's two of them. And who's the guy in green? That's the one I'm kind of throwing
That's the guy who played... Didn't he play
isn't
one of
that
the bad Flashes?
Yeah, that's Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
What's he doing in green, though?
That's Harrison Wells, who played Reverse Flash.
Yeah, but he's in green. Like he's.
And also, who's the guy in the?
He looks like he's got an alien hand on too. Am I crazy? Right?
He's got something weird. Yeah.
Looks like a glove.
So
he kind of looks like a Mysterio. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. But I'm thinking he actually might be. Who's the alien dude on Supergirl?
John Johns.
We were just talking about
Martian Manhunter.
Thank you, Martian
Yeah,
Manhunter.
John Johns.
Yeah, John Johns. Is it possible he's a
If they're
version
doing
of
that,
that?
I think they'd bring that guy in. I don't think they'd...
What I'm saying is there's more than just Martian Manhunter. There was a whole bunch of different Martians.
I was going to say it might be a different
Scroll
Earth
down.
version.
Is there more here in the comments naming who's who? They mentioned missing Tom Welling, who's not in the picture, which I
No,
agree.
you're missing Swin Bob.
Yeah, why aren't Oliver and Batwoman there? I have to admit, that's funny.
Now to dissect the photo.
Yeah,
Whoa.
people are basically reading through and reading all sorts of stuff. Yeah, Supergirl's got a new outfit.
Okay, I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
she just this season they changed her outfit over.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it.
And then the guy on the very far left is the bad guy, right? And I'm forgetting his name now.
Really?
Yeah, for the episode, he's gonna be the bad guy.
He looks
like Darkseid.
He looks like he could be Apocalypse with that costume.
Kind of.
He's
That's
got
right.
the neck guard and stuff.
Yeah, Marvel should have been paying attention to
Yeah.
this costume because it's got the Apocalypse.
But it
look
looks
to
like the Darkseid costume.
it's not Darkseid.
It's not Darkseid?
Not Darkseid.
Are you
I am positive it's not Darkseid.
Then,
He's not big enough to be Darkseid.
Okay. Then what's Diggle's wife, Dead Center? What is she dressed
I'm not
up
sure what. I don't think she's necessarily. She might just be a futuristic like warrior or something. I don't necessarily think that means she has any
Okay.
superpowers or anything.
as? I
But
was to say, because she was just an Argus agent.
yeah,
Last I remember.
she just might be a futuristic Argus agent, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. Or
But-
a different
Well, have
Earth.
to wait and see, I guess. Crisis on Infinite Earths. It looks interesting. I mean, it's got my
Parallels.
attention.
The green guy, Bob?
Yeah,
The guy in the green?
Yeah.
You're saying reverse flash?
yeah.
That's Pariah Wells.
Pariah.
Oh,
So
okay.
who's
It's in the
Pariah Wells?
It's in the.
See, I'm not familiar with DC nearly as much as
I'm
Marvel,
not
so
either.
I
So
don't know
we're
who
getting into
Pariah Wells
right. We're
is.
getting into. I got to be honest here. Like,
Just look up the character
That-
in like DC Comics because we
Yeah,
can see
hang
an
on.
image.
I'm trying to do something else too.
Okay, yeah, I see a picture of him. That's pretty accurate.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay. Don't know.
It looks like they're not IMDbing it, at least under those names.
Yeah, Pariah.
Maybe.
It's Pariah, not his name. Is a scientist in the comic.
So I heard John Cryer's playing Lex Luthor.
Yes, John Cryer's playing Lex Luthor is right there.
Did he shave his head?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Who's John Cryer and
2.5 Men. The one who's
Not
staying in
Charlie
the, yeah,
Sheen.
not Charlie Sheen, the one who's staying in the house.
oh,
Yeah. So that'll be an
Oh.
interesting.
Okay. Pariah was one of the greatest scientists from the versions of Earth. Pariah's unorthodox experiments to view the creation of the universe results as an anti-monitor, learning the existence of the Earth and destroying it in a way with antimatter.
Well, if it brings in the anti-monitor, that's the whole point on Crisis.
Right. I think that. Yeah.
And that might be the guy in blue.
I'm thinking that's the bad guy. Yeah.
Oh, is the anti-monitor?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, the anti-monitor was gigantic in the comics. He was like a galactic
Yeah,
size.
and I unfortunately, because they did introduce him way back. I forget what the series. They did another crossover, and he showed up at the very end.
Hmm.
So it looks like they're bringing back Heatwave. They're bringing back White Canary,
bringing in Batwoman.
Pariah.
Yeah,
Who's-
Batwoman's already on a show.
They're bringing Lois Lane in.
Yep.
She's already on
No,
Supergirl.
This is Lois Lane from Smallville.
Oh, from Smallville. Okay, that makes sense then.
They're also bringing is Kristen Crook or whatever her name was, who played the girl in
Lana Lane?
Lana Lang.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lana Lang. Yeah,
is she coming back? I thought she
she's.
was.
I'm pretty sure she is. It's just a matter of which episode or cast she's on. I don't remember.
So they did a cool picture of Brandon Routh posing, matching some of the paintings Alex Ross did of his Kingdom
Yeah.
Come Superman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's the monitor.
The Monitor.
If you scroll back, right at the top of mine.
Oh yeah, LaMonica Garrett is the monitor.
Oh, so the anti-monitor, if it appears, will become probably CG.
Connor Hawk.
Probably, yeah.
Joseph David Jones. Connor Hawk. Who's Connor Hawk?
Where are you looking?
Towards the top of the page.
I don't know.
So
Probably
yeah,
some
it's
character
going
in
to
there.
be quite the cast.
Well, it's just
Especially
a
if
quite
they,
the crossover. I mean,
if they do
it's-
bring in Linda Carter and all those that they're mentioning.
Right.
Burt Ward.
there's been mention of Linda Carter's coming in for Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Burt Ward's coming in as a Robin.
Yes.
The voice of Batman, and I can't remember his name now.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin
Kevin Conroy is going to come in as Batman
He's been the
himself.
voice of Batman in most of the games and in the animated series.
And
way back in
supposedly
the
there are
80s.
pictures out there of him in his suit, but they,
Have immediately been
They-
taken away.
yeah, I was gonna say they were taken down.
I didn't
within
think he was
5
wearing the
minutes
suit.
of
I thought he was
coming
only going to be Bruce Wayne.
They had said they did a test fitting with a suit on.
Oh, he must have
The-
loved that.
The costume went up, and within 5 minutes, it was immediately taken down because supposedly WB had threatened.
Someone,
a
come on,
lawsuit.
anything goes up, there's screen captures. People gotta have it.
I'm surprised I can't find it even right now either. And I actually earlier today I was looking to see if I could find it again. I couldn't find it. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting. I'm excited about the whole process here. I mean, it's going to go across several television shows. So it's going to be Arrow. It's going to be Batwoman. It's going to be Supergirl. It's going to be Black Lightning. I'm trying to think of all.
Are they
of them.
bringing Huntress back in? Because it sounds like with the bot.
Yes,
Yeah,
Huntress
yeah.
is coming back.
Really?
From the Birds of Prey
Imagine-
Hunters.
Right, the Birds
Yeah,
of
the
Prey
old TV
Huntress.
show.
Right. So imagine, they're taking the entire CW universe
And just
and making a movie out of the universe. Kind of, they did it. They did a test trial of it
And crossing into the
about a
movies
season
little bit.
ago. Yeah, and they are
'Cause
crossing
You're
over to the
getting
movies.
Brandon Routh.
Right, as Superman, which
Yeah.
is a crossover. This is the first time where I'm kind of like, maybe DC is doing something right. The TV
Yeah.
show side of things
has
They know
always
what they're
been
doing.
good.
But here's the catch. I think they're doing this to end off Arrow.
Yeah.
It's their last season. I think they needed to do something big to end it out. I mean, let's face it. I'm forgetting the Arrow's actor's name.
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell deserves a big send off here. I think
He's done a phenomenal job with Arrow.
and Arrow's been around for what, 12 seasons? Something insane
that
like
many?
that. I'm pretty sure.
Um,
Because it started in the middle of Smallville. So it's been around for a while. You need me to look that up?
I'll look it up.
Okay. So it's
um,
been around for quite some time, and I think Amell deserves some sort of a big send off.
Oh yeah, Mel deserves a big shebang.
And during this Crisis on Infinite Earths, they're very young. They're whoever the Flash is in this universe.
Yeah.
Only 7.
Gets killed.
Only
He's
7.
done 7
Okay.
seasons of.
Oh, Barry's going to get killed.
Yes.
Okay.
Gustin Grant, you really think would get killed?
So
Or-
What I'm saying is the Crisis on Infinite Earths here.
in the
the
comics, he gets
dies.
killed.
Oh.
That's the crisis on the Infinite Earths, is Flash dies, and therefore the ability to change from multiverses dies with him. That's the crisis. And then people get stuck in the wrong Earths in the wrong places at the wrong times.
Do you think they would really kill off Gustin Grant, even though it's season 4 or 5 of?
Why not? They could revive him in some way.
No one ever dies.
They could relaunch Flash in some way. I'm saying they could kill him and then relaunch it.
The reason why it starts is because his daughter screws it all up.
Right, which is
Mhm.
ironic because last season his daughter appeared and started screwing up the Flash.
Right.
So it actually kind of set up Infinite Earths. It made a lot of sense when they said
I
they
have
were
not
doing it.
watched these other seasons, so I have to get caught up.
Yes, you do.
I don't watch the Flash, and I know this stuff.
I don't watch The
But-
Flash, but the only thing I've heard is that basically the solution to every episode is, I must run faster.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
It's a dream.
It's a trap.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing we wanted to talk about, and that was the trailer,
For Picard Season 2.
second trailer for Picard. This one is definitely more telling. There's more information here than probably any of the other trailers we've seen yet about Picard. And
Any of the other
there's only
being the
one, right? That's true.
It's Picard taking a number 2.
I don't know about you guys, but it did make me feel better that they're at least going to have Jonathan Frakes,
We knew that was
Marina
I
Sirtis.
heard they were going to be.
I mean, they had announced it at the panel at Comic-Con, but I wasn't, I didn't want to believe it till I saw it in a trailer. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to get my hopes up and then have them dashed.
Right.
So to see them finally kind of, that was a
Yeah.
cool moment.
We still haven't seen Worf.
I feel like this show, when I watch it, it's just going to make me miss Next Generation all that much more.
But I think that's the whole point. I think it's going to make you want to go back and watch The Next Generation again. You know what I mean? Like,
Because we've got most of the main cast.
Right.
Picard, Riker,
Marina Sirtis, Data.
Troy, Data. We're missing Crusher.
Right.
We get 7 of 9 from Deep Space Nine. Or
Right.
from Voyager.
Voyager. Yeah.
It's definitely playing on the nostalgia strings a lot.
Now we're missing Crusher. Which one?
This is true.
Not- well,
we are away
It
with
will.
Will Wheaton. We're missing Will Wheaton.
Wasn't the last we ever saw of Will of his character Wesley
Wesley.
going off with that traveler or something.
I thought the last thing we saw was the very last. Wasn't in the last episode he was a captain of a ship? I thought
Maybe.
at that point I was pretty sure because.
But that last episode was kind of retconning itself, as in that might not be the future that happens.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So,
Yeah.
the last we officially saw of him, I thought, was that one episode where they're like, he's a special person in terms of space travel or something, and he went off.
Yeah. Oh,
with some
yeah.
traveler that had all
Yeah,
these abilities.
yeah, and he had the ability to travel time and space and,
And-
warp things.
Yeah,
and-
basically the doctor.
yeah.
And something like that happened, and then we never saw him again, as far as I know. Wasn't that the end of his storyline?
You might be right, Eric.
They wrote him off. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
So, who knows where he is?
I know Will Wheaton begged them to get him off the show. He wanted to be off and like have his own career. And ironically, what
Yeah.
career did he have after that? But,
You know who we need? We absolutely need to have an appearance. Q.
and you keep saying
I
that.
want Q.
You know what? I say let him get into the first season, then maybe Q could come in season 2.
I think that
you know
needs
what
to
I
be
mean?
the finale.
That, yeah, I
Q
can see
showing
that where
up
he,
as
at the
finale.
at the very end, like the very last thing, mon ami,
Mon
you know,
capitaine.
mon capital.
Long time no see.
That would be actually be a great
That'd be a
send off at the
fantastic
very
ending.
end. Yeah,
And you
yeah,
could
yeah.
have Picard go, ah, crap.
Or just go, not again.
Or
You know,
just, no,
like,
you know what? He's French. He just needs to go.
nerd. That would be great.
What I would like to see would never happen, but
What's
I'd like to see it is Q and Guinan square off and Guinan gets killed.
I don't know.
Well, and
whether they
just
bring
the
that back.
mental back and forth that would have to occur for a Q and Guinan thing to happen. That would be so cool.
There's a lot they could do.
There's a lot they could do, and that's the thing. You know, we're obviously we're this particular trailer. We finally find out that Picard's going to go rogue.
Which
we
was
knew,
hinted
we
at.
knew we were going to have that.
He was gathering a team that wasn't
Yeah.
really Starfleet.
Right, and we knew he would kind of go rogue as it went, and so this will be interesting to see how he goes rogue. I'm looking at our stream. Why is that looking so weird?
I know, it's very jagged. Let's see if it redraws when it gets to the end. A little better now. But it's like behind.
Actually,
It's
it
like
It
looks,
looks
lagging.
quiet.
looks like whenever anybody talks, it just jumps ahead.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I don't know what's going on there.
Your computer's processing too many things.
Probably.
You have
Maybe you
way too
should
many
close.
tabs.
Maybe you should close.
Yeah, close Internet Explorer
Yeah,
and
Explorer.
close all of the tabs except for the last two, because we're in the last two on Chrome.
Some of this might give you a little more RAM.
Oh well. It's probably because we're running the video too. So I can edit that all down later.
Hopefully the sound is good.
I'm gonna say it is.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about Picard? You know, the trailer here. Is this sold you on this a little bit more or less?
I
Or?
mean, clearly there's some sort of storyline. I mean, we see clips with the Borg ship. I think the inside of a Borg ship. We found that Hugh was coming back. We heard that already. And 7 of 9's in it. We see shots of 7 of 9 in tears. Maybe they're flashbacks, things like that. I have a feeling the Borg is going to play into this storyline somehow, pretty strongly. And then there's the mystery of who is this girl that he's got to protect, who people are after.
See, I think the Borg is a miscue. I don't think they're going to play a major role in this. I think it's going to be very minor, whatever the Borg thing is. I think that was all to get everybody to go,
Do you think that's
The Borg
do you
are
think
there.
do you think maybe because we left the Borg with the fact they were evolving.
yeah.
Do you think maybe the thing that made Picard leave was that the Federation did a genocide on the Borg and annihilated them?
That's almost kind of what I'm wondering if they're going to go with.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what bothers
Well,
7 of
yes.
9 because she's connected with
Yeah.
them.
Now that one scene where there's a bunch of like clones.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. The door open, they're standing there.
Right. I think they're like the second version of Data.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that woman that I'm going with you is a relation to
Union soon.
yeah.
I can
could
see
believe
that, yeah. Yeah, and I could see where maybe they use like clones to kill off the Borg. Maybe that's how they end the Borg.
Or maybe
you know what I mean?
they co-opted some Borg technology and
Right, in order to
using it, and
clone.
that's not what the Federation should be doing.
Right.
I was gonna say
And
we had
Picard's
this-
calling him out on it, and that's why there's this interaction. Yeah.
They make a comment that Picard just walked away from
The Federation.
the Federation, and then when he's in the office with the woman, he's yelling at her, like
Oh, yeah, he's
beating his
upset.
hand in the desk.
Which
about
which
something.
would coincide with all this stuff. It would kind of make sense. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I like how that we're already like kind of curious as to where this is going to
Oh,
go.
yeah,
and,
it's gonna be
so
excellent.
it's going to be a really cool
I'm
show.
looking forward to it. That's one I'm going to catch every episode of.
It's going to be hard for me not to. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about for the beginning episode tonight was that Disney has bought back Spider-Man. Well, kind of.
They've made more agreements with Sony.
They made agreements with Sony, and
Mom and Dad made up.
it's kind of like that, right? Like it's like it was kind of like it's funny because all the memes are coming out like everything's right with the world, right? So it was just it's interesting that Tom Holland's now got another agreement. It's for what, 3 movies, correct? Am I right?
I know they've got
One of his own, one in another Marvel movie.
Yeah, there's at least one more Marvel Spider-Man now coming, which means we get to find out what happens to him after the end of Far From Home.
But don't you think they could have told that without?
No.
Why not?
You couldn't mention Tony Stark. You couldn't mention if they didn't make the.
But if they revealed his identity, which is the big reveal,
in a Marvel
right?
movie, they couldn't mention the fact that his identity was revealed by Mysterio because
Oh, I get what
that
you're
was
saying,
done
because
in a
that all
Marvel
happened
movie,
in a Marvel movie.
and they wouldn't be able to touch that.
So
storyline.
Far From Home would not have been under Sony's.
Nope.
They could use Mysterio again. I don't even know if they could. Not in that version. It's like they'd need to retell him because that's a Marvel.
See, my assumption was that Sony was the head on that, and Marvel was the.
I read
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it.
Yeah, I read.
And that's where it kind of
once.
is conflated here. This whole thing is conflated.
I read an article about all the things that Sony wouldn't be able to touch if they took it back by themselves,
Okay.
and it just killed the chances of telling more of
anything.
that story. You'd have to go off on your own direction. They could do a Sinister Six. They could introduce all those characters and bring in a Kraven and bring in a Scorpion and
Right.
do all that stuff.
But it would
But
have to be
They'd
non-connected
have to kind of
in.
ignore all that other stuff that happened in Far From Home.
Or you'd almost have to
They couldn't
relaunch Spider-Man.
You couldn't mention the snap. You
Yeah.
couldn't mention, like I said, Stark Tech, anything that he has, the glasses, all that'd be gone.
They have to get rid of the suit.
The suit couldn't be a Stark suit. It would have to just be a
Now,
Spider-Man suit.
did you guys hear the rumor that Disney was thinking of buying out Sony?
Well,
And that maybe that's why Sony all of a sudden acquiesced on
there was
Spider-Man?
rumors that somehow Apple was involved in that.
Right,
That
yes.
It was going to all tie back into Disney.
Yes, the Apple. So here's how Disney was going to plan it. At least this is the rumor. They were going to let Apple TV buy out Sony on purpose because Sony had PlayStation View, PlayStation, all that other crazy stuff. Make it look like they were just trying to acquire the rights to the entertainment side of it. And then Disney was going to buy Apple because Apple needs a bailout currently. A lot of people don't know that. And yes, they're not doing well.
They're doing a lot better now that the 11 came out.
Not the 11, but before the iPhone 11, they were not doing well. They were almost in bankruptcy, and so the iPhone 11 was their last ditch attempt to get the company back together again. But anyway, they were in trouble, and so Disney was offering to buy them out. But they made the deal with Apple; they wouldn't buy Apple TV unless they bought the rights to Sony. So there was this kind of weird like domino effect. So Disney wouldn't have outright bought it because they can't. And the reason they can't is it would create a pretty major monopoly within the movie industry. So they were letting another company suck it up, and then we're going to buy out that company. But I still sit here and say I cannot see the FCC letting Disney buy out even Apple after they bought Sony, only because I would still think generate that same monopoly concept. You know what I mean? I don't know. So what do you guys, I mean, like, is this kind of an moment, like, it's fixed, or are we still in kind of a state of flux here, do you think?
I still say it's I have to agree with you on it. I think it was a whole marketing ploy between Sony and
Yeah, I have my own personal viewpoint on it.
Disney.
I do. I think it was all a marketing ploy.
They
But here's the thing. Why?
They were
Because
worried about
they
this.
were doing great. Far From Home was huge. We just came off of Endgame. Everything was popular.
Correct, but here's the deal. They don't have any movies for how long now?
A year. Marvel
A year.
doesn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Marvel doesn't have anything for a year. Disney needed something to keep the spotlight on that universe,
Well,
right?
if
That
that's-
Marvel
if that's
universe.
the case, then let it go longer. I mean, if they've already settled it, we're still almost a year away. We're like 8-9 months away.
I get what you're saying, but part of me is sitting here saying the only way you're going to get DVD sales, Blu-ray sales to go up and spike is to keep some pressure on. So, hey, you want the Far From Home sales to go up? All of a sudden, Spider-Man's not part of the Spider-Verse. Yes, he is, because they did it the week that the blue, and that's where I'm saying it's a marketing ploy. If you notice, Spider-Man came back into the universe the same week that the Blu-ray hit the shelves.
You also
and I
probably
can't help
don't
but think that's part of it. I can't.
You probably don't think we landed on the moon either, do you?
No,
Yes, I do.
We landed on the moon.
I'm not a huge conspiracy person. Like, I don't believe the whole, like, 9/11 was perpetrated by George Bush or any of that crazy stuff. But I do think that maybe Disney. I truly think Disney plays games with the press at times
probably.
to market for themselves, and I think this was a marketing.
I heard
play.
Tom Holland did a personal push to get back in too.
Yes, I heard that he used his representatives to kind of go in with a legal team and see if he could seek out an individualized contract with Disney outside of the Sony. And apparently, the way Sony put their contract together, there was a loophole that they could have used to get Tom Holland to be able to renegotiate and do a Disney contract outside of his Sony contract. Which apparently now, when they redid the contract, they made sure to close the loophole.
So
if I were Tom Holland, I might have kept that to myself for now. But oops.
I think he just wanted to be back in the Marvel.
I really think he did. I think it's kind of like a family. Could you imagine being a part of something big like that and then suddenly told, nope, you're not part of that anymore. I couldn't fathom that, and so that would be a tough one to take. So now he's back. We know that he's at least back for another movie. And, of course, now the other rumor that has been flying around and pretty much got confirmed by the guy who plays the character that not only is Spider-Man back, but that there's a pretty good chance that we're going to get Venom inside the Disney Marvel Universe. And I'm concerned because Venom was played by, I'm forgetting his name.
Tom Holland.
Tom
Hardy.
See, that's the other problem. Tom Hardy, Tom Holland. And Tom Hardy apparently has gone out and kind of like gave the rumor that he was going to be part of the MCU. I don't know about you guys. I didn't like Venom. I watched it.
No, I felt like it was awful. It was like Spawn. It was a movie that would have been much more at home in the 90s.
Right.
It felt detached from like the Marvel universe as a whole.
Well, there's the reason there.
Right. It just didn't feel right, and so I don't know. I just. And then there's this outlying question in the long run, right? That this article brings
Disney
up on
wants
Screen Rant.
Spider-Man back.
Right. That Disney wants Spider-Man back. Will they ever get Spider-Man back? And I mean, my question is, what's the cost? I don't know.
I was gonna say, why wouldn't Disney just buy any Marvel characters out from Sony? Just
because Sony, if they don't want to sell, they won't sell it. Who cares how much money they throw at them? They're going to be like, we think we can make more by making our own movies with the characters.
And here's the deal: Sony's making a ton of money with these movies, no matter how you slice it or look at it.
They lost the X-Men and the Mutants.
Sony didn't have the X-Men.
That was
20th Century Fox.
Oh.
So believe it or not,
Sony, 20th Century Fox was also Fantastic Four and all that. That's all gone back to Marvel now.
All back in Marvel. So it's kind of a weird combination here. I'm not sure how to explain it, other than Disney really, they want Spidey back in their universe, obviously, and so they made this a thing. I guess my question now is, can you wrap Spider-Man up with a one Spider-Man movie and a tie-in once? Is it enough, do you think?
No.
I mean, part of me is sitting here saying maybe that wasn't enough.
Well, now people have also said that the next time we might see Spider-Man in the MCU before he gets his independent film is as a side character in like Captain Marvel 2 or something like that. That they say that he could pop up there.
I still think the Doctor Strange movie is the most obvious place to put him.
They could do all sorts of stuff with that.
Right. And Eric, you brought up earlier tonight that apparently there's rumors that Daredevil.
Yes.
May actually, and we're talking about Daredevil from the Netflix series, which is
Charlie Cox.
And the Kingpin for a minute. I don't remember the actor's name.
Oh my gosh, it's the guy from Law and Order, and I should remember his name.
He was in Jurassic World 2.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio. That those two, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, may actually go into the MCU and be a part of the Disney chain, the MCU chain to become Daredevil and Kingpin.
Because as we know, all the Netflix series have ended.
Do you think it's going to be in a movie or in a TV show?
because they have tons. I mean, they,
Well, Disney
here's the
Plus.
thing.
They
Disney
could
Plus
use
and
Disney
She-Hulk
Plus.
is a lawyer.
Yes.
You could
Yes.
totally have She-Hulk going up against
Matt Murdock.
Yeah, Matt
Murdock.
Murdock.
Totally.
Totally, yeah.
I know that's a
And-
couple years away though.
And defending the Kingpin. One of them
Which-
defending the Kingpin.
Yeah.
Has it ever happened
you're
in the
right,
comic
Gary. I never
books?
thought
What's
about
that?
that.
Yeah, very
Has
easy.
She-Hulk ever been the one defending Kingpin in the comic books? I don't remember that being something.
No,
But
but
it would be a cool story nonetheless. I just
you think that's ever stopped Disney from telling a story that hasn't happened in the
No,
comic
we
books?
can go
no. I'm not saying that at all.
And that's what I've been waiting for is to see Jennifer Walters more so than
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
And that's another rumor that gets thrown around, or at least people are heavily petitioning to have Stephanie Beatrice from
Brooklyn Nine-Nine
as Jennifer Walters.
I could totally see her playing that
Type
role.
it in.
Though.
Type
Oh my
it in
gosh.
fan art.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick. We can edit this on the podcast and video, guys. You can watch us go on a little side trip.
Join us on the side mission.
Jennifer who?
Beatrix is the way it's spelled.
Is She-Hulk?
Yeah. Where's the one I saw? I'm not seeing it. Her name, we might have spelled her name wrong. Do Beatrice, like I-C-E. Still not seeing it. Look, you have to look up the proper spelling of her name. You have to type in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The Z maybe.
It might be the Z. So it's Beatrice.
Yeah, it's
She-Hulk.
Yep.
So where's the one? Over at the very end of the first row.
Oh, that one. Dang.
dude.
I'm telling you, I think she'd make a great She-Hulk.
Yeah, she'd have to do some working out. You know, she's
Yeah.
tall, but she doesn't.
She's
have
tall,
the
but she'd
build.
have to
She's
bulk
lanky.
up,
She'd
yeah.
bulk up a bit, but I think she.
But
could-
with some bulking up, that would be an easy
Yeah,
sell.
I
Holy
think-
cow.
I think she could
Yeah.
totally do it. You see that picture right there, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's a pretty good sell.
Could you have Ruffalo's Hulk pop up while she's being She-Hulk?
Good lord, I'm going to sound as racist as all get out, but wasn't She-Hulk black?
No,
No.
I thought
no,
she was.
Jennifer Walters wasn't. No.
Okay, I'm wrong.
So
on that.
edit
Okay.
that out.
Yeah, we'll
because
get
you
edited
sound-
out later.
Video world, you just saw my dad being a slight.
No, I'm just asking an honest question
No,
because I
she
thought
was.
she
She
was.
was.
But okay,
No.
I'm wrong on that. Okay,
And
I don't know much about
and to answer
She-Hulk.
your
She was
question-
she was his cousin,
Well, I get
and
that.
they did a
but-
blood transfusion,
Okay,
and that's how she got the stuff in her.
Right now, to answer Austin's question
What
Yes.
was it?
about Mark Ruffalo playing the Hulk, no,
You
Can't.
can't have him coming over into
No,
She-Hulk. Not even.
no.
no.
Why?
Yeah, again, why?
Universal owns the Hulk,
Bulk.
and they are not releasing.
They
Oh.
have told Disney a million times they will not release the
He can
rights to the
only
Hulk.
appear in
And
Avengers movies.
Right. He can only be part of the Avengers, and
And-
that's all they gave them the right for. Disney.
And there's might be a problem with having She-Hulk.
Right. There's a big
And-
argument of that. Right. There's been a threat of a lawsuit, I believe, from Universal about
Yes.
whether Disney even owns the rights to She-Hulk, and that's actually got to get resolved before they can even make the show at this point. And there's a couple other characters that would be in question. That's the other thing that Universal is now hanging on, that they've got some characters that Disney's wanting to use in the future here, and they're saying you can't. People like the Leader, who are some of the other enemies of the Hulk.
Abomination.
Don't even worry about the enemies. The one that's already been in the MCU besides the Hulk,
Which is what
Thunderbolt
Abomination?
Ross.
General Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, that's right, because they had Ross in the last movie, right?
He's
Been-
the-
He's been in a couple movies, right?
He was the guy. He's the guy on the
See, that's
hologram screen telling them they're all
right,
under
right,
arrest.
right.
And-
And that's where I'm sitting here saying, like, Disney's been like walking a weird line with Universal. I'm surprised Universal's put up with it for as long as they have. And
I think as long as it's in like an Avenger movie,
they're okay with it.
It's okay to use them, but not.
Well, here's the problem. Ross was heavily in Civil War,
He was, yeah. He was
which
a big part of
you
that.
could almost say was an Avenger. He was almost Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a ensemble
Yeah,
type of cast, so
they
therefore
can't do a straight up just Hulk with Ross
Right.
movie. Yeah.
Which is just sad because I would love to
Right.
see that, and Universal's being
So that keeps
Smart.
the Red Hulk.
I know, and then
Oh.
Abomination, Leader,
Exactly.
Mr.
all the
Fix-It.
Mr. Fix-It, yeah.
the entire Wrecking Crew. They're all gamma powered,
Right.
and they've been enemies to both Thor, but also the Hulk.
Here's another obscure character a lot of people don't think about. Paladin is part of that crew, too, so he'd be out. So there's a lot of characters that Universal has some control over
There's
that
two-
a lot of people don't realize.
The-
A lot of
Why
people
did
think that, who was the one, Guardians of the Galaxy, who was the bad guy in the last movie?
Ego.
Ego. There's a lot of question about Ego, too, because Ego was introduced through the Hulk comics first.
Was he?
Yes, because Hulk and Ego got in a fight. That was the very first, and that was a while back. That was back in the 70s. So there's an argument about that, about whether that should belong to Universal or not, too. So
Why did
Eric's
Stan?
gonna look that up.
I was gonna say,
I'm
why
gonna
did
get
Stan?
fact checked.
Why did Stan Lee do that in the first place? Why did he sell the rights to
He
multiple
did.
companies?
He
He
did.
didn't. Marvel did because they
Marvel
were in
Comics
bankruptcy.
did. They were in bankruptcy and they desperately needed money, so they were selling to the highest bidder.
I have to check you on that one.
Fact check. Okay, go ahead. Fact check.
First
me on it.
appearance as a cameo was in Mighty Thor 132. Full appearance was in Mighty Thor 133.
Okay, so I was wrong, but I know Hulk has been a major part of the development of Ego, and it'd be interesting to see if I know Universal's threatened a lawsuit about all the characters that they claim they own the rights
Right.
to, and I
Everyone
don't know.
wants a piece. I mean, 21 movies,
Right?
interconnected, billions of dollars.
Oh no, I think
Everyone-
you're at T now. I think you're at trillions.
Trill-
I
every-
really truly believe.
I don't know if
so.
we're at trillions.
I think you're pretty close. You might be at your first trillion.
That's
I
a
think so.
1,000 billions. I'm
Oh, I
thinking
know
it's-
that. But you're talking 21 movies. Think of how much money
so
they're making off of
21
each.
movies would each have to make at least $20 billion each. None of them have crossed over $1 billion, except Avengers.
Well, you're talking about clearing.
Yeah.
Above the cost. Or is that what
I'm
you're talking
talking in
about?
general. $1
Okay.
trillion is a lot.
Okay. Well, but I do think we'll be looking in the
They're
future
all-
where they may
Oh,
be
God.
crossing $1 trillion for ease, with ease. After phase 5 or 6.
They're,
with ease.
Oh, yeah, they're adding up like crazy.
Yeah.
But everyone wants a piece of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, God, how do we get... Well, we have these kind of tangible rights we own to this or that.
Yeah.
Or, okay, well, let's use that.
Well, why not use it? Okay. I don't see why Sony or Universal can't use it as a bargaining chip to get money out of Disney. Oh, you want the character?
Well, they do. I'll guarantee you, money is kicked back to Universal when Hulk appears in Avengers
Oh,
to
yeah.
some extent.
Yes.
I'm saying you want to have Hulk. Okay, fine. We'll give you a standalone Hulk film for $2.8 billion, and we get all of that.
But why would they do that
Yeah,
when
Marvel
they
would-
could make their own Hulk movie and probably clear 10 times that?
And not have to cut Marvel.
And not
at
have to
all.
cut Marvel at all. Right.
What's that? Universal making a movie making $2 billion?
Yeah, I'm just saying they could. I'm
Um,
not saying they will. I'm just saying they
And
could.
no,
No. Just hear me on this one because they can't use Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Right.
Which
Right,
means
that
it's
is a different. I get it. I know
which
what I'm
means
saying.
it's then
But,
disjointed from
Ed
the.
Norton could come back.
yeah, right.
Oh God.
Who? Was that the guy in the Incredible?
How about Eric Bana?
Eric Bana. He should definitely play it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys are so cruel.
And he should fight giant Hulk dogs.
Yeah.
Genius.
What?
God, you guys are
A
so
giant
cruel.
Hulk poodle
Yeah.
and Chihuahua. That would be even better.
And we'll kind of put the Absorbing Man in it, but not.
But not
entirely.
really. Yeah.
He'll be a homeless looking kind of guy.
That
I'm
was,
so confused.
Played
here.
by Nick Nolte.
but that was more like the electric guy from the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Electro, kind of, sort of. Yeah. Somebody want to cue my son in on what's going on?
Yes, please.
No, leave him in the dark.
It's no fun being in the dark.
You want to come out of your closet? Because today is come out of your closet day.
Yeah, just come out of your closet day.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Gary. You're in a safe space.
I won't judge you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh.
With all that said, the fact that we're getting punchy.
You're gonna be the North Star of our comic podcast.
Yes, right,
yes,
yeah.
you could, yeah.
So that's all we have to say about all sorts of topics, ranging from Picard all the way back to
Suicide
Squad and
Crisis.
Spider-Man and Crisis on Infinite
It was
Earths.
an all comic book, except for Picard.
Except for Picard. So let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube what you think of these things. And we're going to be back in just a little bit to review the last 3 episodes of Season 1 of Star Wars Resistance. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are done with Resistance after this.
Goodness.
Done. And I'll
Thank
explain why
goodness.
after the break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay,
Let's
seriously,
hear
what
a
the
So
little
I'm going to keep the video going here. Oh, you want to hear a little?
Yeah, I wanna make sure
It
the
might
sound's
be iffy if I...
You better save it first.
I will.
Okay, now what do you want to know?
What's with the Hulk film and
Okay.
giant poodles and
Okay.
chihuahuas?
Yeah. Cue him in.
The first Hulk movie that came out.
The one with Lou Ferrigno?
No.
No.
That was a movie.
No,
That was a
no.
TV show.
I thought he had a movie. Okay, I'm
It was
sorry.
a TV show.
Okay.
Well, a couple made for TV movies, but they were
The death of the
part
Incredible
of the TV show. The first one had Eric Bana that played the Hulk.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that one. Is that the one Uncle Drew raves is really, really good?
No.
These the last 3 episodes of Season 1 of Star Wars Resistance.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, told you
Right.
it's decent.
The bad guy in that movie was his father.
Well, I guess
And they
that,
did a
but-
blood transfusion.
Okay, I think I've seen clips of that.
All right.
I can have fun
That-
conversations if I just keep
It
interrupting.
was a combination of the Absorbing Man and the electricity monster and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
You don't even know.
Facts?
You don't even know who Absorbing Man is, do you?
I do know Absorbing Man.
Okay.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes, he's the guy who dukes it out in the desert before Hulk gets captured. And he accidentally turns into sand because he touches the sand, then touches the Las Vegas sign.
And the serum that he was working on.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you.
Did it get injected in a bunch of dogs to be tested, or was
I
it?
think it was.
Nick
yeah, I
Nolte
think
did it to send them after him.
Right. Yeah.
Because he was trying to trigger the Hulk.
Yeah, the Hulk.
Right.
became-
He's trying to get him to get mad.
Okay.
These dogs became the Incredible
Yeah.
Dogs.
There were 2 bulldogs and a poodle.
Yeah, and the poodle. Yeah.
A poodle, really?
It's a vicious looking poodle.
Oh my goodness.
And
This
the
is
way
from like the 70s, wasn't it? This
I-
one?
I think we came
I
out
think
in
I've seen.
2000.
I think I've seen.
Did it
clips
really?
of it. He's in the Hulk
Really?
form and he's stuck in a cage.
I remember I just
And then they're
broke
trying
up
to take
with
his
my wife.
blood or
It
something.
was the first
right?
movie I went to see by myself after I kind of separated and was living
when I was
elsewhere.
watching it, and I seen
The
this
special
stupid,
effects are
Hulk
so bad
dog.
in it.
Yeah.
You watch. They're not. I mean, they're his green is off and stuff, but they're digital effects. They're decent.
I don't remember this one.
And then the only way
This
he
is a
would,
made-for-TV one.
No, this was the first Eric Bana Hulk.
the only way he would get set off is if
The
he
Incredible Hulk was
remembered
filmed by
the
Ang
abuse
Lee.
his father was giving him.
Oh, that Hulk.
Thank goodness.
No, he's talking about a different Hulk.
No, you're talking about with the poodles. Man.
It's not the Incredible Hulk. It's the Hulk.
Right. It's just the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk, though, is one I've seen. It's the one that he is fighting the military.
You're talking about the Edward Norton one, right?
Hulk. Second one down.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Eric Bana.
I guess I haven't
Show
seen.
him the trailer. Show him the trailer. This is how bad this movie was.
Hang on.
I guess
for
it's
a
been a
minute.
while since I've seen this particular one.
There was a movie that Uncle Drew raved about, and that you said is complete garbage.
Hulk.
This one?
Yes. Because
That
it
one-
says Liv Tyler in it, doesn't it?
She plays Betty Ross.
No, she's Liv Taylor's not in this one.
Liv Taylor's in the
Oh no,
Jennifer
no.
Connelly.
Betty Ross was Jennifer Connelly. Thank you. Yeah, trilogy. You might want to do it on YouTube.
Yeah. Which I'm going to have to go and. It's not season 2.
Not the Incredible Hulk 2 either, or the Hulk 2.
Just Hulk. This one.
Like 15-second one. Oh, that's the ad. Getting volume.
There should be.
Look at you. Off to college to be a great scientist. Like your father. There's something inside you so special. Someday you're going to share it with the whole world.
Let's hit the gamma radiation. Countdown start.
Video me.
Animate released. Bruce, I don't understand what I just saw.
Type of gamma released. Certain was already there. My son is unique, and the world will not tolerate his existence. What did you do to me? I improved upon nature.
Yeah, this is the one I haven't watched in forever.
I enjoyed it.
Really? I didn't like it. HD DVD.
Everything we have to stop his movement.
You will only fuel his rage and make him stronger.
You do when you graduate. When you're left with no choice, I'm sending her a surprise visit from some friends of mine. When you're pushed too far, you pathetic freak. Don't just get even. You're making me angry.
So that's absorbing it?
I don't think you're
No,
gonna
Nick
like
Nolte
me when
kind
I'm
of
angry.
in a way it becomes
I didn't know that. I never caught on to that.
From director Ang Lee. We're gonna have to watch that temper of yours.
Video man.
HD
See, real quick, type in Hulk. What's his name? Nick Nolte hand scene. Yeah, it's the they call it the absorbing man scene because he kind of becomes the absorbing man. He's trying to do that. He wants the same thing to happen to him that happened to Bruce.
Right,
He wants
I
to
remember
become
that part.
powerful.
What the frack? See, I never understood this scene. So now you're saying he's absorbing, man. It kind of
Well,
makes
watch.
sense.
Watch what happens to his hand after it heals. Because there was all this stuff with like starfish DNA, things that could repair themselves.
Okay.
But then he touches his hand to the metal. And I thought this scene was awesome. Just the way that his hand moves through the metal, you could feel the weight of it. He's like merging with the, and he discovers that's what he's triggering himself, is this ability to absorb and adopt other properties.
Oh, see, I never knew
So
that.
he's not full on the absorbing man,
Right.
but he's pretty. So then he realizes all I got to do is touch the
Hulk.
Hulk, and that's why he tries to trigger his son.
There's a
What's happening here? My hand.
That's not
You see
moving.
the strength of my son's DNA
He was in it though.
He was.
combined with nanomed reconstruction? You see, I can partake with the essences of all things.
This is where the video man.
Put your hands up,
experiment
okay?
making friends.
No, okay.
See, and this is what I liked about the movie, the way they turn the screen into panels.
Right.
All through the movie, they do
Like
that.
comic book panels.
Yeah, tons of it. And I liked
I remember that part. I did like that.
You know, they're doing these side by sides and everything. I thought it was a great storytelling. I liked that movie. I mean, it had its.
I'd have to go back
It
and
was
watch
slow
it again,
and it
but
had some
I
issues,
wrote it
but
off. I'll be
It
honest.
had some
I
cool
did.
stuff in it.
All right, so should I bring up notes and we'll do the last bit here?
Yeah. Did you save the first half?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll double check.
Yeah, it's 10. We gotta get this recorded.
Yep, that's what I want to get going here. 'Cause
Yeah, it only take about 5 minutes for us.
for all three.
Sucked, and sucked. Good. Okay. All right.
Well,
Right.
Except for
Not-
one scene where the robot tried to kill all the
Right.
stormtroopers.
Yep.
Get Descent number 2.
Yeah, I got all
it's
three.
all over here.
It's all the way over here. All right, ready? By the way, the video's been rolling that whole time.
That's
Oh, well.
alright.
Oh, sorry, Video Land.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay, ready? And here we go.
Action.
Hey, folks, welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as
Season
we
2.
review the last 3 episodes of Season 1 of Star Wars Resistance, titled Descent and No Escape Part 1 and No Escape Part 2 in no particular order, although that's the order we watched them in because that's the order they're in. So, that's it. We're done with the season. Good job, folks. Thank you.
Yay.
We'll see you next year.
Pats in the back, pats in the back. We got through it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're coming back for next year's?
No.
Season
no,
2?
No, I'm saying kill you next year.
No, Kylo Ren's in season 2. We
We gotta go
watch.
see that because
We gotta
apparently this ship has a freaking
No. This platform now has an
platform.
energy or an engine and can go fly in space.
But that makes it a ship,
It's a
so it's
hyperdrive.
not a platform anymore. It's now a ship.
Well then, stupid logic.
So we start off
There's
Descent
logic in this?
where right. We start off Descent with the idea that Jaeger's been arrested and
No, Kaz has been exposed, and everyone on Yeager's station is considered resistance traitors
There you
and they're being arrested.
We
So they're
skipped.
being
We
arrested.
watched the accidental Jaeger being arrested scene from the
Right.
episode.
And,
Next week.
right.
we
that's
we
right,
skipped
thank
an
you.
episode by
We
accident.
skipped
About
an
10
yeah.
minutes. Or
Yeah,
about
thank
5
you.
minutes.
and then they go down in this cave where these monsters come out and attack all the women. Oh, wait a minute. That's a movie.
That's a different Descent.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
And this one, if I remember correctly, was a 90s video game where you flew through caves and you could spin 360 degrees.
Yes,
Oh,
that was
yeah,
Descent, the video
that's
game.
the video
yeah,
game
Yeah.
Oh, this is when
Which are all better than this particular
this
episode.
is when
by
you
the way.
have a skunk, but you make it so it doesn't stink anymore.
A Descent.
Yeah,
You
But-
Descented it.
Descent.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's still stunk.
Oh, it's not that then.
No.
Austin's not even getting involved. He's like, I'm not even touching this with a 10-foot pole.
And
Nope.
I can't even say it was decent either. So.
Okay. And
So-
the puns have
I
begun.
was gonna say now that the bad dad jokes are going here for this episode.
This tells you how bad it
Was there anything decent about Descent at all? This was another weird like.
So, if I remember correctly,
So sorry, Eric. I got.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I got to explain this to Bob. The best part of the whole movie was the ancient mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the elderly
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't a movie; it was a TV show. Just to let you know, it felt like a movie because it was going on for hours and hours at a time. But
It
was
wasn't
not
doing
actually-
anything good.
Yes, it was not actually a movie per se. So in this particular first episode, I kind of felt like the whole thing was a filler episode yet again. Like we're just trying to make our way to the end, right? Like it's.
well, there was a
We're
lot
limping.
of running around.
That's just about to
Hey,
say.
there are stormtroopers. They've taken over. They're making it clear now. The rebellion's not coming to help us. The Republic is not going to come help us. It's like they're against everybody.
I figured out why they called it Descent. They descended underneath the stairs. And underneath the floors.
Well, I do have to point out there was twice now in this episode where they hid under the floors and nobody found them, and I
There
just
was, like,
don't get it.
Wait.
They kept running around under floors, not under floors, back to floors. Someone's under a floor. They get caught under a floor. then
Finally.
they don't get caught under a floor.
The stun shot just misses completely.
Yeah, the stormtroopers can't hit them from 1 foot away.
Apparently, it's a very light shot. He bounces off things.
Well, and I would like to point out that throughout all 3 of these episodes, the only person I really cared about the whole time is still the Birdman. And we only saw him in one shot, and that's really what killed these 3 episodes at the end.
You're talking about the chicken nugget guy, right?
Yeah, the chicken nugget dude. Yeah.
The guy who got his
And
mouth
did you see him cheer?
Yeah, yes.
Because he didn't have to scrub it no more.
No, yeah. The door's closed, the scrubbing's gone. Apparently when you close the doors, dust goes away.
Well, the water came in.
Yeah, that's right. Scrubbed it for
Scrubbed
him.
it for him.
See, that's the
Exactly.
thing is the next episode, the first episode next season, you're going to see him and someone's going to hand him a mop.
Arr.
Hey, maybe they'll give him his mop bucket and
Maybe.
No, his
So,
mop floor.
I'm
mopper
assuming
thing.
Descent is titled Descent because they decided to
Sink the platform.
sink the platform.
Yeah.
And all of that was because they need to get a message out to the resistance movement to let them know that the platform has been taken over and is under attack.
By the First Order.
And
Kaz's genius idea is, well, if the signal blocking antenna is at water level,
they'll be able to get to it easier.
They'll be able to swim to it easy because it's no longer way up in the air.
But forget the idea that you are completely exposed in the water. Everybody can see your every movement. Forget the idea that there may be stormtroopers around that, I don't know, could swim.
We later see that in No Escape where they're wearing aqua
where were they
suits.
in this episode? Hello.
They had to get the aqua suits ready.
Those are tight. It takes a while to put those things on.
Well, the other thing I don't understand is, okay, you sink the antenna
to water level.
But it still has the same carrier waves.
It's above water. It's still powerful.
So.
Well, the whole reason they did it in the first place makes no sense. They doubled their patrols, so it's going to be well guarded, so we'll sink it so that we can get to it. What?
Well, and that's you know,
where's the logic?
It was funny because Pyre and whoever the other girl is that comes in, they're like, "Gee, this seems odd, and the timing seems off," and I'm just like, "Really? Like you can't put two and two together?"
I wish
Agent Tyranny.
Yeah, Agent Tyranny. Thank you.
I wish they had mentioned something before this episode that the platform has the ability to submerge.
Yeah,
At least
right.
Plant that idea early in the season.
Right.
Then if they came back to it now, I'd be like, oh, hey, foreshadowing. They planted that idea. Now they're going to actually enact it. At least it was something we knew about. But it, to me, shows how it's like they've not planned out this season.
Right.
Because they're throwing things in.
I would have even made that like a defensive strategy for the platform. Like the pirates attack and submerge the platform.
But never, maybe not even do it. Maybe just say, it's very risky, but we can't do it.
Right.
But it's something. Yeah.
Now, they did, in an earlier episode, introduce a character that could have really helped them out a lot in this whole thing, and they didn't bring it in at all.
What's that, space whale?
The big giant
Leviathan.
The big giant
Leviathan thing, yeah.
What?
Which they could have used, yeah. Maybe that could have helped them get around in the water instead of being...
Right. Niku could have called it like...
CB-223 or whatever it was doing. Which apparently CB-223's only job in the world is as an underwater skiff.
And just apparently
and he just farts this way around underwater.
It had some good fighting, though.
It is a beach ball.
I actually liked the scene where
he fought BB-90. Yeah, I did think
I enjoyed that.
That was in episodes later, but you know what? Let's talk about all three.
It was in No Escape Part 1, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's one of the better parts of all three of these episodes. We're just combining them all, folks. So go watch all three, and then you'll see the tragedy that we watched here at the end.
But this is what. Oh, I'm yawning because I'm thinking about how these episodes were so exciting. This is what, to me, typifies the bad writing.
Yes.
Try and pick out what chase moment, what floor part, what hiding behind a box happened in what episode. It all starts to kind of blend together.
Right.
Which shows you how much they repeat this whole running around motif without a direction, without a focus.
And we keep running around in the same parts of the platform.
Exactly.
It's a huge platform. Where's the rest of the platform?
You could play the running theme.
Yeah, the Benny Goodman theme.
Yeah, you could just play that the entire time of the show, and it would be hilarious.
I think it might actually make it better if I just played it while we were watching the episode. And the one thing, there were a couple things I liked about all three of these episodes. First off, I did actually start to like the new droid. I liked CB.
Yeah, getting some character, getting
some character, and I liked his warbles. They were so different than BB-8 or anybody else. So I started to actually become endeared to the new droid.
And that droid is extremely skilled with its like fire wires. That
He seems to have He seems to have a little more capability than BB-8.
He's faster than BB-8, which is odd.
So that I appreciated. I actually appreciated the fight sequence in the sky over the platform with the TIE fighters at the end. I liked how they came out of the platform in the circular formation and then suddenly went into the dogfighting style, and I liked all the camera angles they showed there. That was very George Lucas-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And the music was right. The music was right there, and it felt Star Wars-y finally.
And it's the first.
But it took them how many episodes to finally get there? But then we get into the ridiculously sublime crap, where a elderly turtle lures a stormtrooper into a broom. Kaz takes one stormtrooper out, pulls the body aside, waits for the other two to enter, and throws another stormtrooper.
And here's the problem: he does that throw. We assume it's him that does that throw, and then not 20 minutes later, they're trying to drag one stormtrooper,
and they can't even drag him around. Yeah,
because these stormtroopers are so heavy.
Yeah, with their armor and everything else.
Here's my favorite part is they go to the one shop to ask for blasters, but they just knocked out 3 stormtroopers
and never picked up
and
one
didn't pick up a
blaster.
blaster.
Yeah, when you look at
it's because the gay couple want to give them to them.
No, they've admitted that they think those two are openly a gay couple.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
Well, why else would you lock yourself in a trunk together with food? I guess. That's,
And the long-legged bird one clearly has a voice pattern that's quite, I'd say, effeminate.
just a tad.
Yeah.
So there's that moment. Then there's the moment that we discover that the platform has a hyperdrive, a Class 2 hyperdrive, and it can take off into space and it's a ship. And I'm sorry.
It's been a ship that's been docked for 20 years in the ocean.
There would be no way you get that thing running.
Sure.
Well, I that's not the part I find unbelievable. First off, the ship, the design of the ship is completely phallic. There's no way around it. You can't deny it. Nobody can sit here and say it's not.
I didn't see that, so you
whatever.
What you're thinking.
Whatever.
Hang on. Also,
Star Wars Resistance 34.
34 and a half. But I just, I have an issue with that. And the platform looks ridiculous in space, taking off in the air. It just looks totally stupid. And I'm perplexed how they're going to make a whole season that I'm never going to watch, by the way. That's about a platform that does not make any logistical sense for going into space. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is it just me, or does that platform also look like Sky Striker Base from the training grounds for the Imperial Navy?
Sky Striker Base?
The one that Sabine went to for the time she was a TIE pilot in training.
Don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
It's essentially where the TIE fighters get taught.
I know what you're saying, and I know you've been going back and watching Rebels episodes lately, but we have not.
The only thing that would make this episode, this one episode when they took off in the hyperspace, good for me.
Yeah.
Would have been if that droid that was lost in
Clone Wars went flying by.
No, goes right through the ray shield and hits Kaz or whatever the hell his name is.
Right on the head.
Yeah, and knocks him off his ship. Like, wow, I love this whole thing flying through hyperspace. And wham!
And then the sound effect could be, wow.
Yeah. They did stuff like, so they tie it into The Force Awakens. They show the whole scene where the Starkiller base fires on the Republic.
Twice, because you saw it at the end of part 1 and beginning of part 2.
And Kaz literally stands up and yells out no from like 2 boxes away. And one guy kind of looks going, did I hear something? And no, they did, It's like...
I love how your measurement of space is how many boxes are between.
That's where they are. And then Kaz, who just watched his home world be destroyed visually, has a gun in his hand. You don't think he would have just stepped out and started shooting all of them in anger? It's kind of something.
Just goes tombstone.
He just sits down. Oh, God. Okay, let's go and rescue the captain. And it's like, they go off. And he mentions one other time, oh, my planet got destroyed.
Well,
and Yeager's like, sorry about that.
They didn't do nothing to Vader or Tarkin when Alderaan got blown up.
We never saw. She may have started kicking and flailing.
Well, so he doesn't react to that, but then he whines about not having food earlier on in the season. You know what I mean? Like, there is like no marked expression or any sort of care to things that should matter to him, and then when things are really kind of ridiculously stupid, he's worried about it, and it's dumb. And I just don't. Again, when you talk about the depth of these characters and you talk about the character development over time, Kaz is the flattest of flat lines.
He's just, the problem is they just play up his annoying traits constantly.
Yes.
He's unlikable.
And it was funny because we were watching the trailer for season 2. And what's the things they run out of on the base? Food, fuel, water. You know, the things that we're all like, oh look, they'll probably run out of fuel. They're going to run out of fuel in season 2, people.
Hey,
I just don't get it.
It's a Rebel episodes where they're searching for fuel.
I just don't get it. I don't understand why we can't come up with a better storyline. It just doesn't make any sense.
I hope, this is my only hope for episode 9.
His new hope.
My only hope for episode 9 is that the A-Wing pilot that lost on the spider planet teams up with a bunch of spiders and they rescue that droid that's flying around in hyperspace. And they come back and they wipe out the whole first droid.
With some Ewoks behind them. And then Kaz can complain about how little of the First Order's left. Yeah. Whine about it a little bit. I spied on them. I'm a spy. Look, spy.
We watched.
If I say spy enough, maybe I'm a spy. Because that's kind of how he was throughout the whole show.
He's probably gonna be the same way through season 2 because he's like, I used to be a spy, and then trips on his own shoelace, basically.
I'm a spy, and I'm going to go to Tassie Station and pick up the power.
Yeah, he is the annoying Luke portion that never stops being annoying.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't evolve.
Yeah, or never matures in any way, shape, or form throughout the whole.
Okay, so this kid, is Luke's
bad side,
bastard child.
Basically, yeah. We'll call it that. Yeah. It's like if Luke's worst side met Luke and had a child.
How has this devolved into Luke on Luke?
I don't know.
Because of the whininess.
The whininess, But the fact that you described it as Luke on Luke action really just kind of took it to a new level. Thank you.
You did that one.
Yeah.
When Luke Skywalker met Luke Skywalker under the two suns, it was love at first sight.
Bow chicka wow wow.
That was Luke happy to see Luke.
I got it.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you got the flowing hair Luke and the black cloak Luke.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yep.
Can I get you some blue milk? No, I brought my own. Squirt in his mouth.
Sorry.
Can I get you some blue milk? No, I got some green instead.
So, do we I don't want to get into talking about these episodes because it's pretty obvious where we all stand on this.
So basically,
was there anything redeeming for any of you? I mean, I did talk about a couple things.
When Captain Doza turns to his robot and says, "Take care of them," and we have the best fight scene of the entire series happen with this damn robot who no one seemed to care about up until this point. And it's cool, and it's done well.
I didn't even know he was armed.
And for a minute and a half, it's cool, and then afterwards, it's done.
I even liked the end of it where Pyre just pulls his gun out on it. Yeah, I just, but you're right. I mean, that's one of the few.
Yeah, the chase, like you said, the aerial battles to an extent at the end. I didn't even mind the pirates showing up as kind of a heroic thing.
That's the one thing I liked was when the pirates came in, their skiff or whatever you want to call it, just drifting through, just like an actual pirate ship, just shooting the
everything.
I'll give one thing good credit for Kaz is that he took out the Red Baron with a very smart strategy.
That was a neat scene. He flew into the ship and kind of
flew in between
tight, narrow passageway alongside and came out at the right moment. It was kind of neat.
That was Night Tarot 2. Yeah,
Tarot season 2. That was the good season.
That's because the Force was strong.
But I'll tell you why I didn't like that scene. They took a really cool character and a really cool ship and wiped it out.
Yeah.
Now you don't even have it for season 2.
We didn't really even see a whole lot of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't see a lot of them. You're making them seem
it's like when they killed the Inquisitor from season 1 of Rebels. Right. We're like, he's gone.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that, we repeated it again. We had this cool character that we knew nothing about. We wanted more, and you killed him.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like, yet again, you had a great opportunity to develop a character over some time.
Well, no.
Create
start of season 2. The platform is rising into the air with the Star Destroyer shooting at it. We're seeing it from the water level. Takes off. Gone. Up pops the Red Baron guy in a escape pod in the ocean. He popped out at the moment.
You could, I guess, but
He survived.
He's parachuting down to the water.
right?
Like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe.
You can totally bring it.
Actually, no, wait, now he's going Cobra.
You can bring that. You can totally bring it.
Yeah, he's a Crimson Guard.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it kind of looks like the Crimson Guard.
These 3 episodes just, they kind of typify why I'm not enjoying the show, because they blend together. If you watch all 3 at once, they blend into this one kind of, we're running through corridors, we're opening doors, we're closing doors, we're filling with water, we're flushing things out, we're closing doors again.
We're saying do it.
We're rescuing people from a cell, we're rescuing more people from a cell later. It's like
We're hiding under.
We're
a floor.
trapping stormtroopers in a cell that somehow managed to go into a cell.
it just is this weird kind of sick.
We're running to a door, not getting hit, closing the door.
We're having stormtroopers fire at us constantly from a foot away as we're standing in the middle of a doorway and not hitting us. I know we joke about stormtroopers being bad shots, but come on.
Like, yeah, they must
not,
be. I don't know what army they're being trained by anymore, because I don't know of an army
They're
that can
being
miss
trained by
doing
the Gungans.
No.
Even the Gungans can hit.
Now, I want to point out that there's a big mistake in the trailer for season 2.
What's that mistake?
When Phasma says that if you can't do this, I'm going to come and exterminate you myself.
Or execute you.
Execute you myself. Well, same difference. Because she couldn't exterminate Finn.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I can't take care of one of the biggest resistance members ever, but I'm going to take care of you.
And he's like the biggest screw up of all the First Order Stormtroopers.
You talking about Pyre?
No,
Finn.
Finn. Oh, yeah.
All right. So how's Phasma going to do that to Pyre?
Well, I think what she was saying is, I will personally be responsible for your execution. Meaning, I'll come there in a line and people will line up and shoot you because.
Well, we know that ain't going to happen. Though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I'm thrown off by, though. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm serious. I'm thrown off by this a little bit. How does Pyre have a gold set of armor, and Phasma, who's supposed to be above him, have a silver set of armor? Shouldn't it be around the other way around?
It's platinum.
Yeah, it's platinum.
Is it platinum? Is that what it's supposed to be?
I don't know.
But still, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, I would think that Phasma should have the gold armor, and the person
Pyre
below
should
her
have
should
silver.
have the silver or platinum or whatever you want to call
Who knows
that
how
color.
space money works?
I think we're going to find out later there's actually a blue armor that's like the highest. You know, it's above all the rest.
Yeah, it's made of gas.
Someone's gonna come out in like canvas armor made with stitches and patches, and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, that's a top dog right there."
I think
Reality.
Canvas.
Hang on. I think there is one. They're called Mandalorians.
No, actually, they're called sand people.
This is true, yeah. They mark single file as their numbers, in case you didn't know. So, Gary, anything redeeming for you in these episodes at all?
There's your answer.
And there's my answer. Austin, was there anything redeeming for you in these episodes?
Only a little bit, and that was just the way the Red Baron died. I kind of felt like that was the only way.
What was the worst part of all 3 of these episodes for you guys?
What's the kid's name?
Kaz?
Yeah. Kaz.
Just Kaz in general.
Yeah.
To me, it was all the shooting of the stormtroopers not hitting anything from literally 2 feet away. There was so many sequences they could have done differently that they as always, they just got lazy. And just, let's make chase scenes, and it'll add excitement.
I don't actually mind the thing, but the one girl being brainwashed is kind of interesting. But that's it. It's not even. It's not even redeeming. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Now, her storyline could be one of the more interesting parts of season 2.
I was about to say, one of the things that I actually didn't like about this set of episodes is Agent Tierney. She comes out of nowhere. We're supposed to be scared of her. I'm not quite sure why.
I don't think she was meant to be scary. I think that they kind of pulled a little fast one on you, where you thought she was going to be a torturer, interrogator,
and then she doesn't.
Not. She's more of a recruiter. She's trying to bring people.
But I felt like she was such a letdown to something that could have been cool, and it just didn't. You know what I mean? And she didn't make sense to me at all. Like she, as a character, as somebody that I should look at as a potential bad guy, I didn't, or even a potential helper, and I didn't. And so it was like she was left in this weird state of like, I really could care less about the character, and on top of it, I really could care less whether she was good or bad or what she was going to do. If she'd have turned and joined the Resistance, I'd have been like, "Oh, look at that! She would join."
Cool.
It's it's like unlike when you look at Callus and some of the other characters that we've seen in flip sides, you're like, "Wow, that was so cool." I could her role in this just didn't seem. It was flat. It didn't seem to play anything, and it could have been cool. It could have been really cool if she'd have managed to figure out a way, to I don't know, manipulate the situation.
I'm going to disagree with you on that, Bob. But the only problem I got with the whole thing is that this is probably the only time you're ever going to see it.
Right.
See that character.
Well, no, because they already showed her in season 2's trailer.
Yeah, we're not sitting down to watch
so you see her for a second time.
I think she'll be in season 2. I think what they're going to do is use her as kind of like she's trying to turn that girl into her personal weapon to go after
the Resistance
group, to find them, to be her connection. I think there's going to be that whole using her. Say you're becoming a great pilot, but behind the scenes, we're using her.
Yeah, and then I think she's going to have the angst of trying to figure out whether she should help or not.
Which I think is only going to last for like 2 or 3 episodes, and that's going to be it.
You're probably right. Yes.
And then you never hear that character again.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because that's what they do with everything that becomes cool in the cartoons.
So should we rate each episode separately, or do we want to rate them all together as one?
I'm going to do 3.
Yeah, I think we should
3 ratings.
3 ratings? Okay, so here we go. We'll go in order. So starting with Descent. How would you guys rate Descent?
That was the first one, blah, 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 where they actually sank the thing at the end.
Sank the ship, yep.
I'll give it things actually happened,
mm-hmm.
which we can't say about a lot of episodes, so I'll break it right in the middle and say a 5.
Okay. Gary, what would you give Descent?
I'd say 5.
Austin?
I'm going to say 4. At least there was something being going on, but the logic of why they just sunk it didn't make sense. If there's patrols guarding the sensory tower, they wouldn't just jump off when the base is being sunk.
I was going to say a 4 too, but only because I don't know if I like the idea
42?
of... Yeah, 4 as well. Only because I don't like the idea that they sank the thing, and I don't know. I guess I just think about water pressure and the size of that platform, and you sank it, and the only thing that's really holding like the market together is little metal doors that you closed over it.
Plus, all those doors they close and open and vent and unvent. You'd think all that would have some sort of issue with causing air pressure.
What's I'm saying? Air pressure and water pressure, and now they're going to go into space, so now you have space pressure. I mean, like. This just does not make any logical sense at all, and that's why I would give it a 4.
And I know in Star Wars you can't entirely go off.
I know, because you got bombs dropping in space, which can't happen.
Bobby, you can't have logic in Star Wars.
I get it. Okay, so I'll start with the next one, which is No Escape Part 1. I think this is the beginning of the end of the illogic, and quite honestly, I was not a fan of this episode, so I would probably give this one a 3. The only redeeming part of this episode was the beginning fight scene.
Yes.
The rest of it was a total waste of space. That's why I'm giving it a 3. Who wants to go next?
Would you give it a 3?
3. Austin, you're next. What would you give this episode?
I'm going to go a 2.
Okay.
The only thing that was good was the fight scene and seeing the manipulation by the one person, and that's it.
Okay.
And the rest is just kiddie show garbage.
Okay. Eric, what would you rate this one?
I'll have to go a little higher than you guys and hit a 5 again, because it opens with the great scene of the fight. It closes with the connection to Force Awakens and Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
It is kind of neat to watch all the soldiers, watch that and be excited to watch planets blow up. You realize how awful the First Order is.
Yeah.
Did this one also have the fight between the 2 BB-8 droids in the middle? Or was
I believe
no, that was
the last one.
That was the last one. So okay, so I'll keep it at a 5 then. Because it had a good opening, a decent ending. Again, things happened. The middle was a lot of running around and hiding behind boxes.
Yeah. Gary, what would you give?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Eric on that. The same reasons of that, and it also explains the scene from Descent that we forgot about, where Leia pretty much gives where Leia pretty much gives him the finger. We're not going to help him. We're not going to help you. We can't. We got our own problems.
But if you can get to us, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to join up with you.
And it kind of explains that little scene right there. So.
True.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So since we're going in order, No Escape Part 2. Gary, what would you give that one since we're going in reverse order?
I'm going to say another 5 on this one because
Okay.
they had some good with the dog fights and stuff, and the pirate ship coming in, attacking the TIE fighters and stuff, and the Star Destroyer just pops out of nowhere, going wow. And then it starts bombarding it. It seems to me that a ship that's been in the water for over 20 years, when it had the shields
To withstand that?
Well, here's
Yeah,
the other
right.
thing. If they can withstand the shots from a Star Destroyer, why was a single pirate skiff and a couple ships to worry for them?
Right.
So the logic starts going out the
Right,
window
right. Completely out the
Yeah.
window.
when they're handling a Star Destroyer shot.
And then why would Han Solo ever worry about a Star Destroyer in a Star Wars
Never
movie
tell me
ever?
the odds.
Right? Like every time you see a Star Destroyer, like, oh, there's a Star Destroyer. This
Now-
time they're like, oh, look, there's a Star Destroyer.
Now, if the Colossus was drifting lazily to the left, I would be
They've
okay
got
with it.
maneuvers.
I'd be okay with it.
Okay, so Austin, what would you give this one?
I'm gonna go a little higher than I have today, which is a 6. The dogfight was amazing.
Damn you.
I like the look of the way it starts, but the logic of the way the ship flies doesn't make any sense. The logic that it would be able to withstand the firepower from the Star Destroyer doesn't make sense either. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Doesn't make any sense either, and I feel like it would have been smoking a little bit too, because it's an engine that's been sitting idle for 20 years.
Right.
But it's a space engine.
So, Eric, what would you rate this one?
I'm going to stick with my series of 5s. I feel like all these episodes...
Hey, as long as it's not
Stuff-
666.
I was gonna
Stuff
say, he didn't go evil.
Oh, interesting little aside today. I saw a thing about cool things that you never noticed in movies.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Clockwork Orange?
A long time ago.
There's a scene where he's being pulled by 2 cops. They've got him either
Mhm.
arm and they're taking him.
Yes, I remember.
The one cop's badge is 667 and the one next to him is 665. So he's in the middle.
Nathan
Makes him
666.
666 as an evil character because he's such a bad guy.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I went 3 5s. The dogfight scene was pretty good for most part. It breaks down a little bit when the ship is slowly coming out of the water, and
Right.
you know the Star Destroyer is there to shoot at it. And like we said, if they've got shields that strong, I kind of liked what's his name, Blowfish 2.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, wow.
not Kaz, but
Niku or something.
Niku. In this one a little bit, just because he's like coming into his own of his psychoticness. You know, he's like,
Right.
you're beginning to find out that when things go crazy,
He really gets
he
nuts.
doesn't break down like you'd expect because
Right.
he's such a nervous whatever character. He finds enjoyment and revelry in the chaos.
Yeah.
You know, he's really kind of into it.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's one thing we forgot to talk about too is when they
Oh, the daughter.
in the elevator.
Yeah.
In the elevator with the ancient turtle guy, and the stormtrooper comes out.
Yeah.
He's hitting him with that wrench again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
Yeah.
He's like, these stormtroopers are very hard to
And
beat.
the-
Meanwhile, he's holding a wrench.
When they mentioned sinking the platform, the 2 people who are most excited about the idea are Niku and the daughter.
And the daughter.
The daughter
Yeah.
looks like she's practically aroused by
I
it.
know, right?
She's like, "Ooh, let's do it! This is exciting." So the 2 of them.
And
have
later
like a
she's like,
psychotic
I'm not
bond.
as excited about
Yes.
it. And I'm
Maybe
kind of like,
this isn't
whoa.
as exciting. Like, okay, why?
So I
Wow.
kind of liked Niku. I actually kind of enjoyed Niku at the end because he
Yeah.
stopped being just, oh, I take everything literally and that's my joke, and he's had this personality of kind of a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And I like that. If they play that up more, he's a bit more entertaining. You know, imagine a guy who doesn't get, you know, puns and parody and jokes, but also kind of doesn't see the danger, you know?
Right.
He kind of get too excited too easily. Now there's a bit more interest for me in that. I'd like to see do stuff with that, you know? So there were things about it I liked, and if you're a fan of the show, this is definitely a game changer for the series. I mean,
Right.
they've jumped from the ocean to space to no longer a platform. We're back into the stars. It's Star Wars again.
We went from Deep Space Nine to Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Yay.
No, we went to Star Trek Voyager.
Voyager. Yeah, I guess
Because they
that's
don't know where
Voyager.
they are.
Right.
So
Which
it basically, you know, is Star Wars again. There's potential for season 2 with all sorts of cool stuff. And if you're into the show and this has been your thing, you're probably super excited about this. So I've had so many problems with it over the season. I can't get excited, but I'll give it an even 5 across the board for the last 3.
So I was going to give this one a 6 for a couple reasons. First off, the BB fight scene.
The
was
fight
in this-
scene. Oh, that was in this one too,
yeah.
which I also liked.
So like I liked that. I liked the dog fights. I liked the end of the Red Baron, even though I think it sucks that they killed him. I did like the way they ended the episode on this like kind of cliffhanger-ish moment.
Did you notice that the shot was very much a takeoff of the end of Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back, right, where they're standing in front of the window and everything's racing by.
Well, in Empire Strikes Back, they're looking at a galaxy.
Right.
But in this one, they're looking into the thing. But it's the same idea.
Unknown,
You had that feel of the Empire Strikes Back, which I
and it
thought
had
was
that
nice
big
touch.
window.
Yeah,
like
Yeah, but when we have Niku come in and say, I have no idea where we are going because I inputted the coordinates wrong.
But I liked that. I mean,
He ran out of
there's
time.
right. So I'm liking the fact that there's this. Now to an extent, I'm kind of like, well, episode 1 might be interesting to watch to see where they ended up.
Yeah.
Like, where did they go? But at the same time, like you said, Eric, there's been so many other issues. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I could bear another season of watching these things.
Yeah, I don't think we should watch it as a team. I might tune
watch
into
it,
an episode or two to see if it stays at the same quality.
I might
level.
binge it at some point while I'm working on something else in my shop.
Yeah.
You know what I
Just to
mean?
see where
But
the
other than
characters
that,
go.
right.
I might turn it on if I can't sleep.
And that's Gary's review of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, there was something else I wanted to say too, and I can't think of it right now. You guys were talking about the.
Let's backtrack and see if we can jog his memory.
When I was talking about this episode?
Nope.
Okay.
It kind of takes away from what Han Solo tells Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that up.
This ain't like Dustin Crop's boy,
Hyperspace.
You don't get the calculations just right. You could bounce too close to a supernova, that end your trip real quick. It's like, it's really important you get the calculations right for
On top of that, there's evidence in other shows, Clone Wars, when they're dealing with the battle over the planet with Ayla, and the pilot smashes in the computer, they almost throw themselves right through a star.
Which also would take away from The Force Awakens when they have to hyperspace right into the planet.
Yeah, like specifically.
Remember,
like,
he
the
said
atmosphere.
that, right, they had to calculate that so carefully, but yet here Niku
can miss.
Oh, well, we missed, and we couldn't get the coordinates. I never thought of that. Like, that's a valid point.
Here's the thing, though. And maybe that's the risk. They could end up dead. But
right.
They'll be okay.
But they're not going to be,
have
because,
some-
right. But you get what I'm saying.
Now, the other question I got is, what does it do to the planet and everything around it when you jump to hyperspace in the atmosphere?
Just pulls the clouds.
I don't know.
Well, I think it would have
punch a hole in the atmosphere?
Right? I would think it would punch a hole in the stratosphere.
Would it pull that or not the Death Star, but the
Star
Destroyer?
No, I don't think, because we've seen jumps like that before where big ships next to each other have all gone, and I don't think they
But
affect
it's
each other.
all been out in space, though.
True, okay. So do they affect the
Yeah, when
atmosphere?
you're in the
That's a good
atmosphere.
question. And they did mention...
could they affect the gravitational pull of the planet?
Yeah.
Right. Like, would it pull the planet out of alignment?
Or kill the planet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
They
pull the
said
planet
right
out
in
of
the
alignment.
episode, we have to be in space, though, to do the launch. They clearly were not up out of the atmosphere yet, because they were still in clouds.
Right.
So...
But they were close enough that they could get the engines to hyperspace.
Yeah, but like he said, now if they're not in space, what does that do? But then again, there's the kind of the reverse of that. What did the Millennium Falcon hyperspacing into a planet's atmosphere do? It didn't appear to really affect that.
No.
Well, it wasn't really an actual planet either. It was an artificial planet.
Oh, was it?
Right, for Starkiller Base,
Yeah.
right?
There was no atmosphere at that point, probably.
And you're punching through a shield.
It had to be an atmosphere because they're all running around outside.
Right. Because Rey and Finn had their fight
fair.
with
Kylo
outside.
woods.
Right.
But
So there had to be something there.
But what I'm saying, though, is they had to punch through a shield, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
shield generator, so that probably was helping hold the atmosphere.
How sad is that? We're talking about everything but this episode.
No, we're talking about the logistics of what happened when they jumped.
True.
But again,
We're talking about the science.
But again, you can't talk logic in
With
Star Wars.
How dare you?
Okay, so there were our thoughts on Resistance. Pretty much the entire season, I think, wrapped up in this episode right here and right now. And,
I thought that
in
was
the
some
last
sort of
3
dramatic
episodes,
music you just cued.
It was. I hit my spring on my.
So we're done talking about Resistance.
So we'd love to hear from you. Head on out to our Facebook page. Find us there. Comment on our YouTube section. Find us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. And as we always like to say here in the Star Production Studios, may the Force be with those who listen.
To Jedi Killer Dillian and Shatterpoints.
In Season 2.
Golly.
Shazam.
Our outro gets bigger and bigger every time. Okay, I'm saving.
I still
And
love
we
being the
are
Shatter
outie.
Points Jedi Killer Dillion, because why not?
Okay, bye, Videoland.
Adios.